Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chaos 120 News tonight. I'm your host, Veteran Mountain Man, and we've got Tara Sim and Scooby331. We should have some of the others joining us here soon, but Six is working, and Burnside should be calling in as soon as he gets a chance. Either one of you guys heard from Prostate today?
No, I haven't heard anything yet.
Me
Well,
either.
we'll see if Prostate shows up. I also send out notice to Kaz and Keck, so we'll see if he shows up. But Scoob, you were talking about some news this morning, so why don't we go ahead and take a look into that? I pulled two that I really wanted to talk about, and one is the Democrats and GOP locked in primary battles in 8 states Tuesday.
Yeah, definitely.
So for those of you, yeah, go ahead, man.
No, I was just gonna say, that's the reason I posted that up there. I was looking for all the stuff that was important. Like, there was a lot of fluff today too. Like, I actually was kind of shocked when I was looking at the news feed. I was like, shit, what the hell? Everyone was making up for Memorial Day weekend or something. But, yeah, I looked. I said, you know what? That's why I put everything in the news feed. I figured they were important stories we had to cover. But yeah, definitely, I agree. We should lead off with those ones. Those are the important ones.
When I get to the computer, I'll pull up the fucking Florida man stories on Chaos News.
You are the best.
Fuck you.
He'd like that too much. So, it looks like we've got a primary race in Alabama for the governors. And the 2nd district that's being voted today, those polls should be closing up here soon. Of course, California has several big primaries going on right now. And it looks like we got stuff going on in San Diego, Los Angeles, Villaragos, and several other places. I know that there was a lot of talk about the Democrats fracturing the vote in their top 2 primary system by having so many people running in so many districts.
Yeah. Bunch of idiots.
Which really makes me hope that they start to turn a little red this time, because I think it'd do the state good.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Of course,
No.
Iowa has a couple of races going today. Mississippi should be closing their polls any minute for their races. Montana has races going on.
Florida should too.
Did you hear anything about the Jersey election results yet, Scoob, or have they started counting yet?
I haven't heard anything about it. I'll be honest with you. There's only like maybe 1 or 2 stations over here who even cover anything in Jersey. I think that might be Channel 4 and Channel 7, respectively. They tend to, believe it or not, ignore everything but New York. So if it's not happening, even things like north of White Plains get no coverage here. It's really just the 5 boroughs in Long Island, and that's it. So I wouldn't even know. I had, to be honest, I had no idea New Jersey was one of the states that had the elections going on until you just mentioned it. I didn't get a chance to look at the article yet.
So New Mexico's got theirs going today. Hopefully Senator Udall is up for re-election. I'd like to see him kicked out of office. And, of course, South Dakota. So if you're in one of these states and you happen to be on the Chaos 120 feed and you haven't voted, I give you permission. Go vote. Go vote now. Come back after you're done voting. We'll be here. You can always listen to this after you vote, but you can't always vote after you listen to this. So if you haven't already voted, go do it now.
Yeah. Seriously, get your vote in. I'm not even going to tell you got no right to complain afterwards. At this point in the game, you can't afford not to vote.
Well, not to mention,
I'm also going to tell you, if you don't vote, you can't bitch.
Well, this is the primaries, not the. Well, this is the primaries, not the general election. So this is picking the candidates.
Yeah.
Still,
So
if you don't vote,
if
you
you
can't
have
bitch.
often complained.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've often complained that your party didn't feel the good didn't vote in this. That's why.
I think that my statement actually, that must have been what they had like a week or two ago, because I had seen the polling place look busy as hell.
Yeah.
God, I hope I didn't miss it. That's the thing. We've had a problem. We've complained a few times. New York State will not send out information about the party if you're registered as Republican. We've been having a real problem with that, but New York doesn't give a fuck. They're worse than California could ever be. People talk about California. This state blatantly says, well, you know what? Nah, fuck you. Far worse than California. They're just crazy people saying, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that. New York literally doesn't even say anything. They're just, nope, sorry, take us to court.
Yeah, see, that needs to be fixed.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
Well, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up Real Clear Politics and see if I can get some feed information on California right now.
Well, let me ask you something. If you go into Bayou, if you go in and you film something like one of those proceedings, is it considered a felony?
Film voting place?
No, not a voting place. If, like, let's say you go to like a town hall meeting, or you go to anything to do with, like, I've seen there's been a few times where you filmed a meeting place. I mean, are you going to get in trouble filming that?
Nope.
You know, in New York, that's a Class A felony.
Really?
I believe it's a minimum 5 years, and I think something like I'm forgive me if I'm wrong on the fine. I want to say $10,000, but I have this calculator. I might be off on the number, but I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive it's a minimum 5-year sentence. So
yeah, see, in Oregon, if it's a public place, it's a one-party consent. But if it's a private place, it's two-party consent.
you're not allowed to bring any audio or video recording device in any building that falls under state or county municipality in New York.
Really?
Yeah. Like, if I go even to the town hall, it's the same thing with the town municipality. It's a Class A felony. It's a violation against the county, and I'm looking at least 5 years. It might be 10. They might have raised it. I'm not sure. It's ridiculous.
Jesus Christ! Somebody needs to challenge that in court. Because
we have the same laws here that they have in England, like the shit that they just arrested Tommy Robinson for. If you look, I think we beat out a lot of other states. We have some of the most archaic laws on the book here.
Well, and I know New York State still has a trial by combat law on the books.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it hasn't been invoked in a long time. Still, not being able to bring a recording device into a public building when a town hall is going on is directly halting small journalism and freedom of speech.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know how they can manage to do that.
Governor Cuomo. He pushes everything. He pushes everything through at night. He has midnight sessions. Because the majority is Democrats, they all vote in his favor. He just put it in where you can go to jail for murder, and if you go out on parole, while you're out on parole, you can vote.
Yeah, see, that's not. Yeah. That's not kosher. That's not kosher. I can understand being allowed to petition to get your rights back after your parole's done.
Mm-hmm.
But while you're on parole, you're on parole. You still don't have your full rights back.
Well, you do in New York.
That's ridiculous, man. People in New York need to be challenging these laws. They need to get groups together and challenge them.
Bro, we do. You have no idea what they do to them. The cops that went and tried to protest the rulings, the common sense gun law rulings, it ruined their careers. All of a sudden, these cops, they started finding all these different things. All of a sudden, people started coming forward. Oh, yeah, this officer said a racist slur to me 15 years ago. Shit like that. They did the same thing to them You don't hear about it much because the New York media did a really good job of burying all this shit. That's what they do around here. This is what they do is they silence people. This is the Democrat dystopia. People talk about Chicago. People talk about Los Angeles. You ever notice that the news is always showing how bad those places are because they don't want anyone to notice their fucking crown jewel. They don't want anyone to notice Manhattan.
Or Detroit. Or Detroit, for that matter, because Detroit is another one that has fallen deep into Democrat dystopia.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is they'll use Detroit. They'll wag Detroit, the media, whenever they want to distract you from something that's going on in Manhattan. And what they'll do is they do the famous misdirection. You know, unfortunately, because a lot of the Republicans are fucking loudmouths, and they figured out, oh, gee, if we do something, we can get these Republicans to make themselves look like assholes. So the Democrats put up all this ridiculous shit that looks good on the surface, but then they underline so much pork that the Republicans have no choice but to undercut it. And instead of coming out and saying, hey, these Democrats are scumbags, that's why we undercut what they're trying to do, the Republicans fall for the trap every time. So Detroit, even though you and I both know it's because it's bluer than a dead Smurf, it looks like it's because of Republican. Because of Republican obstruction. It looks like that because of Republican obstructionism is how it's sold to the public.
I don't know how they managed to sell that to the public. The public's got to be asleep in Detroit because there hasn't been a Republican in charge of Detroit in more than 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
So how are Republicans obstructing? I mean, where do they have power?
And when you say that to them, that's when they start sending you the memes of a monkey shitting on a picnic table, or they start sending you the memes of a kitten in a bathtub, or some other stupid asinine shit. It's more misdirection. It's at the point now where the left they're touting lies, and when they get confronted, they act like fucking monkeys. That's what they do. It's like dealing with a. It's seriously, it's like dealing with a fucking chimp. Like you flick on the lights and there it is, jumping up and down, masturbating. That's what I feel like when I talk to half of these fucking leftists. They're morons. Seriously, if they weren't morons, at this point they wouldn't be leftists.
So, guys, I need to make a quick public service announcement here. I just got a tweet from a person on Twitter who calls themselves Cali Conservative. We've been tweeting back and forth about left coast politics and such. Cali Conservative just posted a warning that was issued by the LA County Sheriff. If you find a crying kid, asking him to take you to his address. Don't do it. Take him to the police station instead. Gangs in the LA area are using this technique to lure women into kidnapping and rape gang scenarios.
Jesus.
So, anybody on the feed listening, please let your friends, let your family know, let anybody you know in California. Do not fall for this trap. It is a trap. They are trying to kidnap a person.
I hate the world.
You know, we had something like that going on out here. And that's part of the reason that I'm glad that the president is going after the FBI. Because I'll be frank with you, I don't trust the FBI as far as I can pitch them with one hand.
You're not the only American that doesn't trust the FBI, man.
What was it? Was it Ruby Ridge, where that woman, she had her baby in her arms and she went to look out the door and they one right to the head?
That was Ruby Ridge, yeah.
Yeah. My father, may he rest in peace, he was a good patriot. He never said too much bad about the FBI because he was a true patriot, but rest of my family who actually were running cases on, I've actually had a jacket with the FBI since I was about maybe 13 years old just because of the vowels in my name. So I say that I'm being dead serious, by the way. I actually do have an active jacket with the FBI. I've been under surveillance since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
But my father was always a little bit afraid of them because he would always say to me, Pachota, you know, they have nothing but time and money. If you do anything, they will get you. They'll find you. That's one of the reasons my father he knew a lot of people, but he never got involved with organized crime because he was terrified of the FBI. He said, you know, they'll take away your rights. And my father was very weird. I think he had a bit of a chip on his shoulder is what it was. Because he didn't want to say that they were going after. He never wanted to finish the thought. But it was the FBI was going after us because, you know, we're Dagos and they're wasps. And when you finish that thought, it's, oh, okay, that means we're not the same as them. And you can't say that with these people because the whole thing is like the "are Italians white" argument. It drives these people crazy. So you could never finish that thought with them. But that's what a lot of it was back then. But I'm getting off of topic here. With the FBI, the reason I'm getting at this is I told you that they had that ring out here where they had girls that were getting lured in, similar to the case you were just talking about. And the girls were getting lured in by a company that's out here in New York called 516 Entertainment. Now, what 516 Entertainment is, because they're still operational, this is why I have questions about the FBI. 516 Entertainment they would send out these dancers, professional dancers, male dancers, into the nightclubs. Because a lot of DJ companies, like when they would perform at a nightclub, they would also provide dancers to go out on the dance floor to dance with the girls and to dance with the men there to get them out on the dance floor.
Yeah.
So, but this company used almost always exclusively men. And the reason for this was they were sending these guys out to talk to these girls on the dance floor. And then it's, oh, listen, you know, I work for the company. After the club closes, we're going to be going back, you know, to our place. You know, we're going to be hanging out or whatever. And yeah, sure, no problem. And same thing. The girls were getting gang pressed into slavery, sex slavery. And they were actually it was a big thing. It's related to, let me see which one of them it is. I believe it's the Gambino crime family. They were involved. So were the Russians. It was actually like something out of a movie. So were the Russians. So were the Gambinos. They were running it out of an Irish mob-held place over in Long Island City called Gallagher's 2000. And what it was, they were running this, and it was the gangbangers, which were the MS-13, the Latin Kings, the Nietas, the Bloods. They came under a flag of truce to this place over on Great Neck Road in Copeg, right off of Route 110 on the border in Amityville. It's where it turns from Copeg into Amityville. It's called the Brick House. It's a blood stronghold. And what they were doing What they were doing is they were taking specifically white girls and they were auctioning them off in the Brick House. And what it was, you'd pay a certain amount of money and you'd rent out the white girl for a weekend. So you get her for 48 hours. They were almost always under the legal age of consent, teenagers, usually ones that snuck in with fake ID to these nightclubs. That was part of the reason that they were being targeted at the clubs is they would use the scanners at the clubs, and the bouncers know when you have a fake ID. So the bouncers are pointing out the girls to the people, to the dancers, and they knew which girls to target. There was actually a rape house in my neighborhood that was connected to this on North Green Avenue. The gentleman's name who got arrested, he just got hit with 50 years for it. His name was Andrew Gayot. And it's all connected to the same thing, and it's still going on with 516 Entertainment. They still have a nightclub, actually, over in Hempstead, New York. I've been to the club myself. So this is the thing.
Hey, Six, how you doing?
Hey, Six.
How you guys doing?
Good, good. How you
We
feel?
were just talking about some really bad news because I just had to give a public service announcement, and we were discussing some of the things that were going on in New York
I see.
that were similar.
Right.
Well-
I was telling Mountain Man how this reminds me. I'd already told you about this, Six. The ring that I got. That's actually how I lost that front tooth. Was getting into a fight with one of the informants.
Yeah.
But yeah, the case he was talking about that's going on in L.A. almost practically mirrors the case that was going on here in New York. That's why I was going over the specifics of it.
Yeah, we just made the public service announcement. Apparently, gangs are using children crying, asking women to take them to an address, and that address is a gang stronghold where they're then kidnapped and sold into sexual slavery.
Yeah.
Piece of shit human traffickers.
Yep.
My cat says hi, by the way.
Shark
Hey,
food, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
shark
yeah.
food.
Put them on the helicopters with the pedos. Fly them out to the shark-infested waters.
I say we take a page out of Pharaoh's book and we just clap them all in irons and make them build the fucking wall.
There we go. There we go. Back on the chain gang.
But also, I just posted the link to Real Clear Politics. They have the primary information on their main page right now. It looks like the polls are winding down in Jersey.
My cat's really talking to me
California
tonight.
hasn't. Yep. California hasn't really reported much yet. New Mexico, the polls are already starting to count. Iowa, the polls are already starting to count. Alabama, the polls are starting to count. So,
Hopefully we get a red tidal wave.
That'd be
Oh,
Well-
God,
nice.
I hope not.
like I said, this is mostly primaries, so we'll have to wait and see. But maybe we'll get lucky and we'll see some serious contenders for these positions. Because I'd like to see some changes in the House and Senate.
Mm-hmm.
We should be getting the best people. Not it isn't so much important that what letter they have in front of their name, as long as they're working for Americans, American values, rule of law, and our Constitution. I don't give a shit what what the letter is in front of their names.
I have to agree with you on that perspective, but there's also some funny ideas as to what's best for America out there with certain groups, and so
True.
it tends to lead
Yeah.
me not to listen to them.
You know, I my perspective on it is like this. Growing up here as a New Yorker, I have known tons, I mean tons of thieves. Tons of thieves. And aside from the fact that they're thieves, they actually tend to have really ridiculous morals. I've always noticed that somebody who's a thief tends to be it's weird. Thieves tend to actually be conservative about everything else. Aside from committing crimes, like most of the thieves I've ever met tend to be the most chaste. They tend to have it's a very weird viewpoint. Now, consequently, I've noticed that most of the people who tend to lean left, they just tend to have like a degeneracy to them around here, like a degeneracy of personality, like a viewpoint that just tends to be a little bit skewed. I don't want, like, when I say pervert, I don't just mean like sexual perversion. I just mean like a perverted, skewed viewpoint in general. And the thing of it is, I've just found, like 9 times out of 10, it's easier for me to deal. I'd rather deal with thieves over degenerate scumbags any day. That's part of the reason I always say, you know, Republicans may be thieves, but, you know, I'd rather, you know, someone's trying to lift my wallet. The Democrats, those are the types that would steal your fucking kidney.
Yeah.
You know?
And bang your
It's-
underage daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the problem I have with them. You know, I understand the rest of the country, Republicans are not thieves per se, as they are like they are here. If you can look up my representative that we have over in Nassau County, Mangano, holy shit. Nassau County just had to shut down all of their precincts. They shut down, I think I told you guys this when I first started streaming with you guys. They shut down something like 60% of their police precincts because they were going bankrupt. And it turned out this son of a bitch had himself like a private jet. He had like jacuzzis. He had in-ground pools, limos. Just the thievery is disgusting. And unfortunately, that's normal with New York Republicans. But like you said, Six, they're more interested in going through your safe, whereas the Democrats are more interested in going through your daughter's underwear drawer. So, you know which way I'll vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can always put a lock on your safe and grab a gun, but you can't always protect your daughter.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look at Anthony Weiner. You had him.
Yep.
Look at Joe Biden.
Creepy Uncle Joe Biden.
Well, speaking of creepy Uncle Joe,
Wandering hands.
Harvey Weinstein pled guilty to rape charges in court today.
Oh, because did they get it wrong? The article I put up said that he pled not guilty.
Oh yeah, he pled not guilty. Sorry, to three counts of felony, to 3 felony counts in the New York Supreme Court. The disgraced producer walked in front of the court and his arraignment: 2 counts of rape and 1 count of first-degree criminal sexual act. He denied the allegations of non-consensual sex and remains free after posting $1 million in bail.
I would regard him as a flight risk. They should have clapped him in irons and kept him behind bars.
And
I'm sorry about the kids being so loud.
It's all right. Of course, his lawyers are pushing the whole he has been falsely accused. This is all false allegations.
You know, this reminds me of the saying. I'm sure you're familiar with it, Mountain Man. What did the opinion in ancient Rome that they had of what was it? Poets and actors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same level as prostitutes.
Yep.
That's a sentiment I think that we should start echoing again. I mean, these people, we're paying them millions of dollars a year to wipe their ass with this country. Like, I'm sorry. I personally, somebody like George Clooney, I think should be homeless at this point. He's a no-talent hack. This country made him his fortune. I'd like to see him lose it by his own graces. I don't want to take it from him. I'd just rather see him squander it and have just tarnished his own reputation enough in the public eye where he just can't get back to the place he was at. That's what I would like to see. That to me is justice. I'm sorry. It's just they've been flocking out here since the weather got nice, so I've been seeing nothing but fucking celebrities every time I leave the house, like driving past.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I know what you mean, man. I see them up here, too, in the summer when they're trying to escape L.A. because it's hot.
Yeah.
And I just found the cutest meme of a dog.
Awesome.
It says, I just bit a Democrat, and I had to lick my butt for an hour to get rid of the taste.
Cool. Can you post that in my meme channel in Discord?
Yeah, give me a second. I'm going to have to save it.
Awesome.
So how have you guys been this week? I haven't talked with you guys much. And some of last week too. I've been wanting to catch up with you guys. How you been?
Well, I've been pretty busy trying to get stuff arranged for my move. Me and Burnside arranged to help him deal with his whole him working Monday issue.
Okay.
In that we're going to swap starting next week. So next week I'll be doing Monday and he'll do Tuesday.
Okay. If I get some time, I'll tweak the channel trailer to reflect that.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to talk to you about it this weekend, hopefully, and it's not a huge worry, but it's when we get a chance, it might be a good idea.
So you gotta forgive my cat here. Since I've been I haven't worked for a while, so she gets a little
Jealous?
not so much jealous, but she gets a little what's the word? She has a separation anxiety. So when I get home, she wants to tell me all about it. So the hours that I'm missing, and then I inexplicably return, and she's like, "Holy shit, you're back! Boy, do I got some shit to tell you."
She's telling you what she did all day.
Yeah, probably bugged her sister. Who I got sitting purring in my lap right now. Yeah, they're good cats. They're good cats. So, Scoob, how you been, man?
Frustrated. Bless you.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. Just frustrated, trying to get a lot of shit accomplished and not getting a lot of help.
Yeah.
Like one of the things, like when I went to go and do cover the thing this weekend at the local thing with the town, they were giving me a hard time about going in and filming it. Unfortunately, by the time I got there, the firefighters were already shit-faced. So, you know, good luck getting somebody sober to talk to.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, God.
yeah. So I'm just gonna contact the racing committee directly. I'm gonna probably cover it for next year. Not that that's like the only thing that's going on around here. It was just it's to me it was like it was a unique thing. It was specifically my neighborhood. There's other shit I can cover. I mean, we got the local regatta. We have this little thing that's gonna be going on this month. Maybe you guys heard of it, the U.S. Open. So.
Oh yeah. That's not important at all. That's not important at all.
Yeah, so it's not like
that.
yeah, it's not like I'm starved for anything. And the only other thing that had happened, Six, was I had mentioned it yesterday on the air. I had been trying to get in touch with Sargon of Akkad's handlers because he was supposed to be out here in New York, and the guy hit me back and he said, "Well, are you looking for free admission?" And I told him, I said, "Well, that is part of the course." I said, "But if that's a problem, let me know now." I said, "Other than that," I said, "You know, I'm local. I'm in the area. I actually would like to pick the guy's brain, this, that, and the third. Here's my information on my Minds page. You can see what I've done." And he didn't get back to me. And then I looked at today. Sargon puts up this video. The fucking dick was walking around Manhattan, and he's interviewing all these fucking left-wing Twinkies. So I left him a really nasty message in his comment section. I go, "Hey, asshole, I contacted your guy. He didn't have the decency to get back to me. Sean was his name. I put him on blast in the comment section. I told him, I said, you're walking around Manhattan. I said, these aren't New Yorkers. These are Manhattanites. I said, you're interviewing rich pricks from every part of the country who moved there. I said, I'm a New Yorker. You could have interviewed me. I would have brought you around to interview real people. I said, you just wasted my time and everyone else who watched this stupid video." That's about what I've been up to the past 2-3 days. So
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Well, I'm also hoping that tomorrow work is slow enough that I can take the day off and go down to Salem and film the rally that's going to be on the steps of the Capitol.
I wish I had the money to fly out there. I'd love to go there with you.
Well, this is supposed to be a pro-Second Amendment, pro-free speech rally that's supposed to be pushing back against the 2 ballot initiatives that are trying to be pushed for gun control.
Unbelievable. So you know that those little fucking 90-pound weirdos are going to show up dressed like ninjas again.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking about, wearing a cup, wearing my leather body armor, and, maybe taking my G6 switchblade in my pocket.
I usually go. I don't wear nothing but like steel toes, a cup, And at this point, I think I might wear like some umpire padding and possibly something to protect my spine. But other than that, fuck them.
Oh my God.
See, Scooby.
You got to read what Freedom for All just said about the NBA.
Okay.
It's in the chat.
All right, let me bring it up then. I'm sorry, man. You were saying something?
Now you see why I interrupted.
my leather body
Huh?
armor. My leather body armor is basically lightweight motorcycle leather from Italy.
Mm-hmm.
So it won't stop a bullet or a serious knife, but it'll stop a glancing knife blow, and it'll add some padding if they're throwing punches or using a chain. But it's still light enough that it's not too heavy to wear.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So I'm not like going out, armed for like melee combat, but I am going to make sure I've got some protection on.
All right, let me bring this up really quick. All right, mute.
Yeah, you'll get a laugh out of it, man.
Yeah, you will.
All right. Is that good, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't bring myself to actually say it because, but it's funny. And I'm not even moving.
Let me see. All right, I'm scrolling through here.
It's at the bottom.
All right. I see Death Harukin tagged me with fill my gas tank with sugar, Scooby331. See. Okay, the NBA started a new rule when other team gets 20 points ahead, they have to replace the black players with whites. When the score gets within 6 points, they renege. I'd agree with that, except for the Celtics. I'm a Larry Bird fan. But
yeah, but do you get the joke?
I got the joke, exactly. No, I got the joke. I was just saying I got to give a shout out to Larry, the legend. But yeah, definitely. That is something I see them doing. But to be fair, the majority of the best players in the NBA per capita do come from Indiana, and they happen to be white as driven snow. I'm just putting that out there. If you look at your top players per capita, they just tend to be corn-fed white boys from Indiana. Go figure.
It's all that green corn. It makes them grow because they're spending so much time running.
Yeah. We're talking about like the guys who are doing actual, like ball handling, like they're actually passing, they're actually running, like they're doing a good like ground game with the ball. I mean, you get a couple of guys from Africa, you throw them the ball. I mean, I'm a Knicks fan. I'll be the first one to tell you. I go to the Garden. It's like watching ballet. They're flying through the fucking air. They're leaping. They're spinning. They're twisting. The ball is barely on court. It's up in the air the whole time. But when you watch like the players from Indiana, they're actually playing classical basketball. The ball's getting passed. There's dribbling going on. It's not a bunch of fucking 8-foot Africans flying through the air like Michael Jordan. It's seriously, it was like watching Swan Lake with Nikes. It's a whole different game.
The problem with white basketball players, they're not angry enough. They need some anger. These you see interviews with any white basketball players. It's like you're at the grocery store and you're staring at a gallon of milk just sitting there. There's no passion. And when you hear them talk, it's like, I don't know, it's like hearing a penny being dropped down a stairwell. Everything is flat. There's no personality, there's no life, there's no passion, there's no anger, I have trouble even believing. How do these guys even exist? How do they function?
I think it's a cultural thing. I'm just gonna go out on a limb. I think isn't the majority religion in Indiana Presbyterian, if I'm not mistaken. And from my experience with those folks, there's a very heavy work ethic. pretty much borderline like with the Amish, except that they actually use electric. But from my experience with these folks, they always have had a very heavy work ethic. And I think it translates into their basketball playing because Larry Bird, I'm using Larry as the example again. He was
these
known.
guys from Indiana. I understand that, but for the white guys from everywhere else, I don't know. It's like staring at a Diet Coke fizz. There's nothing to them. When you watch them play, it's like they look like they're going through the motions. They don't have much spirit. They really don't have any spirit.
Well,
there's something very wrong with that.
I think one. I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, these guys are kind of like it. I hate saying it. The majority of your white players also tend to be freakishly tall, so it could be that too. You know, I mean, there is a lot to it. I mean, let's face it. It could just be these could just be miserable people that are good at playing ball. Let's really lay it out on the line. I mean, you don't see a lot of the white players in advertisements. You don't see a lot of them doing different things like that because, again, a lot of these white players tend to be well north of 6'6". Michael Jordan was 6'6". A lot of these white players,
well, it doesn't help when people talk to these guys. They're about as interesting as a pad of Post-it notes.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. All they've done is play basketball all their lives. That tends to make it very boring.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, they're very boring. They're unflavored oatmeal. They're
milk toast.
They're milk toast. They're so milk toast. They're like milk toast that's been in the freezer.
So it's lost even more flavor.
Well,
yeah.
Let me ask you guys this. Think about this for a minute. In the past, okay, I'll be generous with the time here. In the past 20 years, other than Jason Kidd, can you guys off the top of your head think of a white player who was under 6'6"?
I don't know that many players in the NBA anymore, Scoob, so I couldn't tell you anything.
Right. Okay.
What the hell is that little freaky Canadian guy? Used to play for the Suns. Had the hair.
One in 20 years. Okay, so but you see my point is most of these players, think about it, they're all like Yao Ming. They're all huge. That's part of probably what it is too. I mean, if you want to get down to it, the black players that they are interviewing tend to be the guys who may be a little bit tall. They may be, 6'4" to 6'8". They're not like 7'6" like some of these white players you see them talking to, where the fucking guy needs a stepladder to get the microphone near his mouth. That could be a lot of it too. I mean, I hate using the term freak, but when it affects your life that much where you feel like you're outside of it, the definition of that term specifically is something drastically outside the norm. And when I'm 6'2" and I have to crane my neck to look at you, that's a little bit, that's outside the norm. That's what the original definition of the word freak is. So part of that is that these guys.
When it comes to white folks, the taller they are, the less personality they're going to have.
Yeah, they stretch out all that personality across that panel, and so it's less of it.
Well, again, if you look at, like, let's say the black community in general, I mean, you look at a lot of these black basketball players, they don't tend to be freakishly tall either. They're actually within a certain medium. Usually the height range with these black basketball players, I've noticed, is between 6'4" and about 6'10" at the tops. Like Shaq was considered an anomaly because he at his peak he hit 7'4". Black players don't usually break the 7 foot mark. That's just a rule I've noticed in the NBA for like the past 20 years. It's usually the white players, and they tend to be from like Bosnia, Croatia. Look at George Miraset. He was Serbian. Yeah. A lot of these guys tend to be foreign. They're foreign players. Or, like I said, they're corn-fed white guys from like Indiana or Kentucky, and they're 7-footers. And I think it's when you get that big, being a giant, it affects your personality. I mean, look at Shaq. Shaq was known for being a weirdo. Like a weirdo, like in the yeah. I mean, like a weirdo, like how Muhammad Ali was a weirdo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Shaq's got the same sort of personality as Ali.
Well,
like it.
Dennis Rodman's the biggest weirdo of them all when it comes to basketball.
He's eccentric. And when I say a weirdo, I'm talking like Muhammad Ali. One of his favorite things to do, like for shits and giggles, was he would drive around Harlem in a go-kart that looked like a Model T because of how small it was. He thought it was hysterical. He had an eccentric personality. Shaquille O'Neal was the same way. His personality was extremely eccentric.
So, guys, I wanted to talk to you about this California Senate Bill 606.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm kind of looking at a deconstruction of it here, and it's going to reduce the amount of water people can use.
Yes, I heard of that.
And it's going to get combined with Assembly Bill 1668, which that bill would establish a 55-gallon per capita daily for standard indoor water use starting January 1, 2025. And anything greater than that would be a fine. Now, after January 1, 2025, it goes down to 52.5 gallons. And then after January 1, 2030, it goes down to 50 gallons.
So you can't use more than 50.
You can't use more than 55 gallons a day per person.
Wow.
Yeah. A dishwasher uses 6 gallons to run a single load of dishes. An 8-minute shower uses roughly 17 gallons. A load of laundry uses 40 gallons.
Damn.
So basically, you're going to have to shower, and you're going to have to do a coin toss between if you're going to do the laundry or the dishes.
Yep.
All right. It's ridiculous.
It is.
Well,
this is California we're talking about, right?
This is California, the People's Republic of California. Yeah.
The breadline state. Let's see. Let's see.
Unfortunately, Kaz isn't with us today. I was hoping to talk with him about that.
Yeah.
Because I really wanted to discuss it with him.
Are they also one of the states that's illegal to collect rainwater?
It is one of the states where it's illegal to collect rainwater. Yep.
Hot dang. How about that? Well, hey, they have bread. They may not have water, but one out of two ain't bad.
And of course, the liberals out here are all lamenting Robert F. Kennedy's passing 50 years ago. Y'all did know it's the 50th anniversary of Robert F. Kennedy's assassination, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're all lamenting him dying.
Well, as an unofficial spokesperson for the people who have ridded the world of the Kennedys, I'd like to say you're welcome. Seriously. Look, they had it coming. My mother was talking about it the other day. Those fucking Kennedys, the fact that they survived as long as they did is what amazes me. First off, the two Kennedys, they took turns with Marilyn Monroe when she was married to Joe DiMaggio. He's like the messiah to people over 65 with a vowel in their last name. So, the fact that the Kennedys took turns diddling his wife wasn't really too big. And then those two morons decided that they were going to screw around with the McGuire sisters when one of them was engaged to Sammy Giancana, the godfather of Chicago. And this is all on top of the fact that their friggin' father, Joseph Rumrunner Kennedy, decided that he wasn't getting enough money with the Cuddy Sark, and he made a deal with the mafia, and then he screwed them over. That's the reason that Jackie Boy's head got blown off in Dallas, and that's the reason that they drilled Bobby Kennedy. Fuck the Kennedys. My thing is this. They shot the wrong two brothers. They should have put bullets in fucking Teddy.
Yep. Would have saved some girl's life.
Yeah. Not to mention now that we got all these fucking people sneaking in from every part of the world. Look, you know, my thing is this. I keep hearing, you should have seen the hatred I got from these Democrats the other day when I said something bad about Kennedy. Somebody turned around and they said, well, what about your president's immigration proposals? I said, we wouldn't have to have him putting in these immigration proposals if it wasn't for Ted Kennedy. Well, your president is breaking up families. I said, our president is breaking up families. I said, if it was up to me, I'd take the crying kids and stick them in the fucking quiet room.
Yep.
Seriously, I give a fuck. I say that as the son of an anchor baby. Not my problem. The Democrats caused this problem. You're worried about the crying families? Fine. Pay for them to fucking fly first class back then. That's all you can do.
Send them back. Send the kids back with their parents.
Yeah, there you go.
The whole anchor baby thing, don't take this wrong, but realistically, it's gone way too far. We need to stop this. There's no other country in the world where you're automatically a citizen just because you're born there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Look, I'm one of the first people that will sit here and say we have to fucking curtail the unions. And I showed you that Teamster jacket. So, believe me, I'm not one of those people who's going to put my own interests in front of the rest of the country because, you know, you keep putting your own interests in front of the rest of the country, and that's how breadlines happen. You have to step back and say, gee, maybe if I do good for the country, I'll prosper also. It's called common sense.
Yep. Oh, don't know if you guys heard. David Hogg got swatted today.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard.
I don't approve of the tactics, but that having been said, it couldn't have happened to a nicer scumbag.
For those in our listening audience who don't know what a swatting is, that is where someone calls the police and makes a false claim that they have seen you with a gun or heard you threatening someone or heard shots fired at your house, and the SWAT team is deployed to assess the situation and enter. It's a popular tactic used against conservatives and gun rights advocates. And I'm actually kind of surprised it got used against David Hogg because usually it's his side that's used it, at least in my observation on the West Coast. And so it's kind of weird to see a gun confiscation supporter being swatted.
So really quick, is Colleen Bernier in the chat?
I don't know if I've
I
seen
don't see her.
Colleen. Colleen, are you there?
You know, we don't have too much of those incidences of swattings happening in New York. And New York state law is if you call up and they send them and they swat them, they're going to have to answer charges irregardless for them if the SWAT team shows up. The charges will be dismissed, but you still have to answer them. But New York state law is you face your accuser. So guess what happens if you call somebody up and send a SWAT team? Guess where the second place is after the SWAT team goes there that they show up? They show up at your house because you have to go down to the station with them. You got to fill out paperwork because you're now appearing as a character witness.
Yep.
There's no anonymous. You cannot make. I tell people all the time they have like 1-800 Crime Stoppers in New York. That's bullshit. There's no anonymous tips in New York. It's actually it goes against the state constitution. It's a misnomer.
Now, see, that's something I actually like about New York is that you cannot make anonymous reports of that nature.
I agree.
And I think there's a big problem in Oregon with the use of swatting tactics because you can make anonymous police reports.
You see, my problem. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to go to a thought, but I want to hear what you had to say.
Well, which means if you buy a burner cell phone from Walmart and you use a fake name and you set it up, the police can't determine who called the report in.
Yeah. Yeah, but we don't have that here. You have they know immediately who did what. And you know, the thing of it is, I liked how my state's laws were until Cuomo got in and started abusing them. That's the problem. My state was fine. You know, we were actually out of any state in the union, of people who have committed crimes who were minors, that is under the age of 18, who have gotten the death penalty. Texas leads in this country. They've given more people under the age of 18 the death penalty for committing murders than any other state in the union. New York State is a dead second behind Texas. We've given the second highest number of people under the age of 18 the death penalty for committing crimes. We also, you cannot claim that you're insane in New York. They don't give a shit. That's the thing. They let everyone wander the streets if they're nuts. But you can't use that defense. Well, Your Honor, my client is crazy. Well, we don't care. He's going to jail anyway. He can be crazy in jail.
Yeah, see, that's something I don't like about out here. Currently, Oregon has 26 people sitting on death row, and they haven't had an execution since the 1990s.
Yeah.
We've got 3 people up for execution, and they're refusing to enact the executions.
They should send them out
Then
here.
then why the fuck even in your state?
Well, because the governor can't get rid of the law because the law was passed as a ballot initiative into the Constitution of the state. So the people want the death penalty. The governor doesn't.
Well, he has to do what the people want.
She's sworn to do what the people want, but she ain't doing it, just like the last 2 haven't.
You know, I, for one,
Dirty
am actually... I, for one, am actually...
No, if there's a death penalty in a state and you have the means to do it, fucking do it.
She doesn't want to do it. She thinks the death penalty is cruel and unusual and shouldn't be used.
Well, she's an imbecile.
What, do you
agree.
have death by ants or something? That's cruel and unusual.
No.
If you have the electric chair, hanging, lethal injection, or firing squad, in my opinion, all that is quite humane.
All we have in Oregon is lethal injection. They won't even do firing squad or old Sparky. I say we need to fire old Sparky back up.
I say bring the noose into play.
I agree with the noose. That's actually, I know in Texas, they had one in the 90s, I believe, where a gentleman insisted that he wanted it. It was his right. He wanted to be hung. He said, I'm a Texan. I'll be damned if I'm going to get a needle stuck in my arm. I want to hang like a gunfighter. And I have always said, if I do ever have to stand long and tall in front of a man for something, and I do wind up where they're taking my life, I want a gunslinger's death the same way. That's the way I'd rather go. I'd rather get hung. But my thing is this. I'm not for the death penalty per se as a punishment. I'll tell you why. I'd rather... I'm for shorter sentences at hard labor where you're going to give somebody 6 years for something. I'd rather you just give them 6 months hard and you work them like a dog. And I'm for, if we're going to give somebody, oh, okay, we're going to give you the death penalty. No, give them life imprisonment at hard labor. Work them to death. I'd rather you do that. As for the death penalty, if they say, well, Your Honor, well, my client cannot do life at hard labor. He's not physically capable. Okay, then we'll execute him if we can't get nothing out of him. Really, if you let these prisoners know right off the bat how little value they have to society other than just as a fucking shovel or pickaxe, they're going to really quick stop going out and committing crimes. You have to make it the way it used to be. You commit a crime, okay, you're a dirtbag, you're a piece of shit, and society is going to mock you for it. That's the thing. You know, throw the book at them. Yeah.
I would actually like to see some of these regulations and restrictions about buying guns for legal gun owners pulled back a bit.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actual criminals. Those people are criminals.
Well, because here's the deal. I know for a fact here in Oregon that 85% of criminals are more afraid of a citizen with a gun than they are the cops.
Yeah.
And it's because every couple of months you see a report. Woman pulls gun on attacker. Woman pulls gun on would-be rapist. Woman pulls gun on B&E suspect. Guy didn't fight the woman holding him at gunpoint, but fought the cops when the cops showed up.
Hey, Cass.
Hey, Cass, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. What about you guys?
Well, we were talking about California and the fact that you're going to either have to do laundry or, take a shower starting 2030.
I don't know. I either smell like shit or I smell like shit. I can't decide between two.
Or you can do your laundry while you're taking a shower.
Just wash yourself in your clothes.
Yeah.
Well, at least the clothes you're going to wear the next day.
Gotta wear them like a bathing suit, you know?
Well, that's how we used to bathe in this country, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just how progressive. We go back to the era where everyone has to share the same bathtub water.
Yep.
If you're someone who
Don't throw the baby out with bathwater.
Who has like a bunch of family members, like 6 or 5. Good luck with that.
Yeah. It's oh God. I feel bad, man. I really do for folks like you and other people in your state that have to deal with that insane shit.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Cash, you should just come east with me.
Yeah, I probably need to consider at some point.
Because, the new limit is 55 gallons till 2025. Then it goes down to 52 gallons. And then in 2030, it goes down to 50.
I'm already hearing all the nice opinions about the trading utility companies being like, oh yeah, we're going to keep on track and pay you up the ass for this. 'Cause that totally isn't exploiting our own people. We're so progressive. You deserve it, bigot. You need to pay for all the expenses.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, that's just like you realize water up here in Portland is more expensive than it is in Las Vegas, right?
In Portland?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
You know why?
Why?
Oh, the water matter that they built that was $80 million that they sold for $8 million.
What the fuck?
The new water treatment plant that they built that was $160 million. All the new bells and whistles and super green technology that they didn't have the money to pay for. We have a giant reservoir called the Bull Mountain Reservoir. It was reserved for the city of Portland and its neighboring communities.
My brother says foxes don't need showers.
We just look ourselves.
But all you have to do is put it in a pipe and bring it to people's homes, and that's it. Yet the Portland Water Bureau's water charges are higher every month than people using the same amount of water in Las Vegas. And Portland's in a rainforest, and Las Vegas is in a desert.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Every day is opposite day when you're talking to progressives.
I'm just glad they haven't started rationing water up here like they have in California.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Those people aren't progressives. Progressives gave you vaccinations and progressives gave you the Panama Canal. Lunatics gave you 80 genders, and lunatics gave you X on the birth certificate, and lunatics gave you universal bathrooms. That's the mark of a lunatic, not a progressive.
Yep. By the way, I heard that New York has finally started allowing X on the birth certificates, same as California and Oregon.
Yep. Goody.
That's stupid as fuck.
Apparently, it says nearly 50% of Bay Area residents want to leave California.
Oh yeah.
That's grown.
Yep.
A lot. Today's also voting day.
Whose?
Senate.
I didn't quite hear you there, Kaz. What'd you say?
Today is also voting day for the whole Senator of California thing.
Oh yeah, the California primaries. Yeah, I just posted a link to Real Clear Politics. They're running a live coverage feed of the current election results. So far, there are no results for the California races. They haven't published any yet.
Well, Scoob, I have a story that I guess best personificates kind of what we're talking about here. The kind of people that would come up with the 80 genders and X on your birth certificate. Well, they'd be kind of like the peacocks that can't handle the reflections in cars, so they go around attacking them.
Oh God!
This is a Canada peacock story. Let's see, peacocks can't handle their reflections, are attacking luxury cars in Canada.
Oh God.
Yeah. Apparently, they have feral peacocks. Yes, feral peacocks. In Canada are either having existential crisis en masse, or they really can't deal with their reflections. Residents of Surrey and British Columbia are having issues with the feathered creatures roaming their neighborhoods. In addition to being loud, the animals keep attacking expensive cars in the area. A local Ryan Craig told CDV with the dark-colored cars, they see the reflection fairly clearly. So they mistake that as another peacock and have at it. They'll get the front panel, the side panel, the rear panel, then work around to the other side. The issue has been going on for months, with one resident going to extremes and chopping down a tree that held a peafowl nest. That resident subsequently received a $1,000 fine. Craig also told CTV that because of the shrieking, living in Surrey is like living with a colicky baby from March all the way through October. That part of the year is peafowl mating season, which leads to the piercing mating calls. The report indicates that the city will continue to fine people who feed the birds but won't do anything about getting rid of them. So Surrey won't be getting any quiet during mating season anytime soon. One person on social media remarked that the peacock's calls were preferable to some other noises.
Like what? The scratching of nails down chalkboards or the screeching of brakes as somebody gets into a head-on collision?
I prefer that
mating
sound over
peacocks.
fucking mating peacocks.
Or the screaming of a Canadian soy boy when he realizes his Maserati has been scratched up by some wily peacock.
Or the screaming of the California Democrats because they know that their projections for winning this primary is very slim.
Yeah, too many Democrats on the ballots, right?
It's like, as far as I know, from all the predictions and shit, things aren't looking too good for Democrats right now.
So
Well,
I also had a bit of news I wanted to talk to you guys about. I heard about this and I'm trying to get more information on it. But apparently Multnomah County and Lane County in Oregon are wanting to change the way they tally votes.
Isn't that called gerrymandering?
No. They're not trying to change the districting. They want to change the way the voting system fundamentally works.
So special gerrymandering.
So instead of you voting for one person, you select the box of the candidate you want to be in the office. They want you to rank your top 5 choices.
Fuck
1
that.
through 5.
What the hell?
How is that supposed to work exactly?
Well, the ones with the 2 highest tallies automatically run off based off of how many got the top score.
Mm-hmm. Top 10 is our elections gonna now be about top 10 candidates, like a fucking YouTube video?
Pretty much. That's what Multnomah County and Lane County want.
I vote for this president because he has foot lettuce.
About a year ago, I actually did a video refuting this type of voting system. Because realistically, it doesn't work. One of the things that they talk about is it would stop strategic voting blocks for where you vote against other candidates. And the truth is it wouldn't.
No.
If you have an absolute abhorrence to one candidate, you are going to vote for every other candidate before you vote for that one.
Makes literally no sense to me.
Yeah, you're going to rank them at the bottom and rank everybody else above them. So it really doesn't fix any of the issues that they claim it fixes. It just makes the voting system more convoluted and difficult to follow, and means that secondary and tertiary voting selection becomes much more important than primary voting selection in a lot of cases, because it'll probably be the people being ranked second and third that are most likely to get the most votes total.
It
And
doesn't sound like
are
something
likely
that'll
to
be abused.
reversed. And
Yeah.
it's something that can easily be abused.
Oh yeah.
And so it realistically makes absolutely no sense. But they are pushing it really hard. So I'm trying to find out who's pushing it. And I want to try to do an expose on them.
You can do that. Yeah, you should.
That's what I'm working on.
Shit sounds really gay.
It
Honestly.
is. It's really insane, man. It's just, well, to be fair, I think the top two primary method that you guys got down in California is nutball.
Oh god, don't get me started. The whole fucking process here in California is completely fucking nutball.
Testify,
insane.
brother. Testify.
At this point, I'm like, you know what? If we start going with the Purge movie and make every presidential candidate that one fucker that survives it, that sounds less convoluted than this shit, Cal. For fuck's sake. What? You know, I would rather have a Hunger Games fucking presidential election than this shit that they already have in California. Because goddamn, it's so fucking weird and dumb. It doesn't work.
Well, I tell you this much, I can see it coming. The next 2-3 years are going to be really wild for your state. I mean, so far from what I understand on the ballot this November, they're going to have the option. Some people want to try to vote to secede from the union. There's also there's going to be the option to secede from the union is one of the things I heard was going to be on the ballot. And another thing is now they want to try to break the state up into 3 separate states. So.
See, originally there was plans to do the 3 separate state ones. I don't know if that's going to go through, but ever since the Democrats caught wind that this is a thing and people really want this, they flipped their shit and then decided, no, we want to make a vote to succeed from the union. So they know how fucked they are. So they're honestly trying their hardest to get to that point where they supposedly could do that, which I don't think that's going to work, obviously.
Well, the big problem with seceding is that you would have to get the rest of the states to agree to it.
Yeah. And despite the fact that we all really loathe what they've turned your state into, we don't want to see it go. I, for one, am just curious because I do have a bit of a prediction I'm going to see is, and just because I want to see how it's addressed is, let's say both of those things do wind up on the ballot. I'm going to laugh my ass off if they both get like 50% of the vote.
So they break into 3 states and they secede from the union?
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine, though? Can you imagine if, like, you got enough votes for both of those measures to pass?
Oh,
I would be betting that at least one section of that 3 breakup would end up going right back into the union immediately.
Yeah, of course, that's a given. Well, if you look at the map that they had what they had proposed, they were going to break it up into Northern California, Southern California, and California. And the section that was supposed to be California is all of the coastal counties.
Yeah. The
yeah. They literally, it's basically like you have a growth on your arm and you take the knife and you cut the growth off. That's what they were doing to the state.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I tell you this much because I looked. The California limit would end and SoCal would begin right on the coast anyway, right at San Diego. San Diego would not be part of California. It would be part of SoCal. I'll move to San Diego. Fuck yeah. Navy Town. Yeah, Navy Town right on the coast. Fine by me. It's like New York in the summer all year. I could live with that.
I just ran across this story in Chaos News. It kind of I'm inspired by all this weird convoluted political stuff, and this story happened to catch my eye. Apparently, a wedding crasher steals newlyweds' gifts, evades police.
Oh gosh.
Fucking
Is this
scumbag.
Florida?
Nope. This one is Virginia, I believe.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
Virginia man.
Yeah, it was actually Virginia woman.
Virginia woman.
Virginia's for lovers, but not their swag, apparently.
I guess not. Most wedding crashers will mooch a couple of glasses of wine and maybe an appetizer, but one woman took much more from a Virginia couple. Newlyweds Rusty and Autumn with 2 T's, Autumn Waddle, were enjoying their wedding May 6th at the Hilton Garden Inn at Virginia Beach when the bride's mother noticed an unfamiliar face. Rusty told CBS affiliate, whatever, lots of letters, that Autumn's mother initially thought the woman was a guest, as the wedding was not formal. Eventually, the bride's mother thought something was up, so she took a photo of the woman standing in front of the gift table. Guests at the wedding told the hotel staff, and the police were notified, but the crasher escaped. And she didn't leave empty-handed. The woman stole gift envelopes meant to be presents for the happy couple. It's pretty wild on a person-to-person level, Rusty told Lots of Letters. I don't understand how you could do that, especially at a wedding. He explained that the couple doesn't know which gifts were taken as they hadn't opened the envelopes. The newlyweds are now reaching out to guests to ask what presents they brought to the wedding. I think embarrassing is the word I would use, Rusty said of the process. The group explained that the wedding crasher didn't just steal gifts, but also darkened memories for what is normally one of the happiest days of a couple's life. Well, of course, we will of course have good memories from the party and hanging out with our friends and all that, said Waddle, but it's all going to lead down to the end of the night, having to think back to the end of the wedding and someone stealing from us. Well, that sucks. Well, I hope they catch the bitch.
Yeah, really. Unbelievable. Fucking scumbags.
Well, so talking of this kind of news, did y'all hear what changes were announced for the Miss America pageant?
They're all going to be dudes now?
No, they are removing the swimsuit competition and removing the evening gown competition.
What the fuck? Why?
So that they can focus on the inner beauty of the contestant.
I see.
Miss America is based on vanity, narcissism. I'm trying to think of the other word.
Pageantry?
No, brainlessness. That's it.
Well,
there is no inner beauty. They all purposely gussy themselves up, get as skinny as fucking possible, so that they can be voted on based on their appearance.
Well, this is why I say I'm hoping for a red wave, because it is the crazy screwball Democrats who are doing this insane shit and are now going to have these women wearing wooden clogs and burlap fucking bags. Seriously. That's not Republicans doing that, Terry. It's the nutbag Democrats. That's the reason.
Screaming into fish bowls because it's expression or something.
Yeah.
Okay, no, this I'm going to say is probably a fucking snowflake from hell that needs to go ahead, land on the goddamn sun, and melt.
Seriously. Look, every one of these stories, I guarantee you that you've been like, what the fuck tonight? I guarantee you not one of them owns a MAGA hat. I'm just putting it out there. Seriously. Let's be realistic about this. I mean, I understand. Look, I understand that Republicans 9 times out of 10 in 90% of the country, it's all about guns, NASCAR, and Jesus. I'm fully aware of that. I'm not exactly something I'm down with either. But considering that the Democrats are trying to destroy the country, I could really deal with, Bubba Joe and his fucking tractor as opposed to, like Pinky McFucking Sprinkles that identifies as a fucking waffle iron. Seriously.
Scoob, get it right. It's a jar of mayonnaise.
My bad. But, seriously, at this point, Look, I went all over this country. I went all over the coast, and I went down to D.C. and I talked to people in D.C. from all over the country. And 9 times out of 10, I found rednecks to be charming. I really did. So I think a lot of the hyperbole I hear from my neighbors and my friends and relatives around here is just that hyperbole. The only ones I see doing any bad are my friends and neighbors and relatives from around here. I see people who all vote blue doing some bad shit to the rest of the country. I'm not a real Republican. I only voted that way because of Trump. And this is what I'm saying is these fucking screwball Democrats are the reason now that Miss America is going to be. Oh God, what the fuck is this competition going to be? They just ended it. What the hell is it now? Seriously.
They're still gonna have the talent portion.
Yeah, it's
and they're still gonna have the question and interview.
You know, look, I'll be honest.
Okay, so it's gonna be like 3 hours shorter.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, look, the talent portion, part of what made the talent portion cool and the Q&A portion cool is because, wow, she looks great in that bathing suit. Holy shit, she also knows like 6 languages and she can juggle swords. But most of
it was men going, "Oh my God, them titties."
But you know,
Tara, let's be fair. The original Miss America was a bathing suit display beauty pageant.
Yeah.
They didn't even add the talent portion and the evening gown portion until the 1940s. It originated as just women wearing bathing suits.
And you know what? As a semi-feminist, because I am a feminist to a point, I'm not one of those extremes. I'm okay with that. These women volunteer to do this shit.
Well, my thing is this. They're doing this because they feel these girls are being exploited. Now, here's the thing of it. I like the fact that they had them in the evening gown and the bathing suit with the other stuff, and I'll tell you why. Because when you look at Miss America, she's not only is she usually has to be beautiful, she has to have the total package. Usually she has to have a brain in her head. She has to have some sort of a talent, as well as having her looks. To me, that's part of the reason, like, people would always say to me, oh, I don't like Fox News because all these newscasters are bombshells. And my retort was always, would you rather they're doing porn? Because seriously, that's what women who look like that, that's what they regulate them to now is you're that good looking. You obviously have to do something with your looks. That's part of the reason I like that Fox has all these nice looking newscasters, because a young lady can look and say, oh, wow, she's intelligent.
Yeah,
that's, you know, it's the same thing with Miss America. To me, this is a loss for society, because the one thing the Miss America pageant showed was a girl that looks that way also has a brain in her head.
Or can, because I used to watch it when I was a kid religiously because I wanted to be one of them, until I realized I was the fucking ugly duckling.
You're not the ugly duckling.
Says you. You're the one that feels like you're an ugly duckling, but I think you're gorgeous. So anyway, I watched these things, and you know, it made me want to better myself. But I also remember a lot of those chicks on there had no fucking brains during the Q&A.
They're kind of like tall white NBA players. Anyhow, here's a story. Pretty kind of illustrates, at least this example of the Democratic Party. Let's see. This was Bill Clinton's reaction when asked about the Monica Lewinsky and the hashtag #MeToo. Former President Bill Clinton, and man, Ivory Prostate should be here, insisted he doesn't owe a personal apology to Monica Lewinsky. Let me read that again. Former President Bill Clinton insisted he doesn't owe a personal apology to Monica Lewinsky, as he shot back at criticism spurred by the hashtag #MeToo movement.
Well, of course not, because I did not do anything wrong with that woman.
Quote, I apologize to everybody in the world. Clinton, 71, said on NBC's Today Show in an interview that aired Monday, the apology was public. Asked whether he owed the former White House intern a direct apology, he said, "No, I do not." In a March essay for Vanity Fair, Lewinsky, 44, wrote that she is still traumatized by the public scrutiny she had to endure after being identified as the woman in the middle of a sex scandal with the sitting president. She wrote that Clinton should have known better because he was at the pinnacle of his career while I was still starting my first job out of college.
Oh, yes, because giving a blowjob to a guy you know is married is completely acceptable behavior in all of society. But let's think about this. Yeah, no.
So Lewinsky didn't respond directly to Clinton's latest comments, but tweeted, "Grateful to the myriad of people who have helped me evolve and gain perspective in the past 20 years." Along with her Vanity Fair piece. Asked if he looked back on the ordeal differently in light of the hashtag #MeToo movement against sexual harassment and whether he felt any responsibility, the 42nd president portrayed himself as the victim. Oh,
a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I understand that he was a married man, but I mean, what was she, like 19 at the time?
She was 22.
Okay, she was 22. I'm not trying to like make excuses for adultery, but young girl, he was a good-looking man, and he was the president, and he wasn't called Slick Willie because he was greasing his hair. Let's be honest. The man had a line of shit you could hang your laundry from, so he seduced her. You know, I'm not saying what she did was right. I have a very big swell of pity for this girl because she did get thrown to the wolves, and it did basically ruin her whole adult life. I mean, if anything, I don't think she deserves what she got at all. It seemed a bit excessive to me.
Yeah. Let's see. He griped that he'd left the White House $16 million in debt, and the media was always omitted gaping facts to make the story work against him. 16 million debt, and how many millions did the Clintons make just in doing public appearances alone?
Far too much. Far too much.
16 million. So yeah, they took care of that 16 million fairly quick.
I mean, shit. Old Slick Willie there did $6 million worth of public speaking engagements in Europe in the past 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah, he really doesn't have a place to be whining. Let's see. Quote, "This was litigated 20 years ago. 2/3 of the American people sided with me. They were not insensitive to that," he said. I guess the same 2/3 of Americans that then voted for George W. Bush. But that goes
fucking real.
Yeah. Quote, "I had sexual harassment policy when I was Arkansas governor in the 80s. I had 2 women chiefs of staff when I was governor. Women were overrepresented in the Attorney General's office in the 1970s for their percentage in the bar. Let's see. I had nothing but women leaders in my office since I left. You are giving one side and omitting facts." Well, they're not alone in that, Bill. They're not alone in that. You and Mrs. Harpy are quite adept at omitting facts.
You know, and he's talking about how he had an all-woman staff. So did Charlie Wilson. And Charlie Wilson was known for diddling his staff. It was basically the 2 things Charlie Wilson was known for was having whiskey on hand at all times and having one of his interns on hand at all times. It was a known thing with him.
Bottle of whiskey in one hand, an intern in the other.
So, Six, we were talking about rain recycling. I was just looking at the California election results. 83% no reassessment on rain recycling.
Unbelievable.
57% cap and trade spending vote. 79% gas tax lockbox.
Hey, man.
Interesting. Colleen Bernier's stories just kind of disappeared on me.
Oh, what's up?
I clicked latest again, and they all just like vanished.
Poof.
Poof.
Yeah. I was gonna say, man, you familiar
Is
with?
she being shadow banned? I think she's being shadow banned.
What's
No,
up,
there's some sort of filter going on. She made a tweet about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I was gonna actually say, I'm glad you brought that up. I have to actually use Internet Explorer to watch YouTube because certain videos won't play on Google Chrome.
Really?
Yeah. Razor Fist. I couldn't watch Razor Fist video. I had to like open up. I had to close Chrome and open up Internet Explorer. I couldn't watch it otherwise. Yeah, certain videos I've noticed when the subject matter. Other times, like it'll come up and the volume isn't working. But it's only Google. No, I was going to ask you something. Yeah, Mountain Man. You familiar when we were kids? Disney got in trouble for it because they cut and edited the video, but they had the video when we were kids. They would show you lemmings just running off of a cliff to their death.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel that way with California.
I really am as well. I really am. Yeah, they even approved a bond for parks and water systems. Now, these aren't final tallies, guys. There's still a lot of precincts that need to vote in, but these are the current running totals. And I'm wondering if they're going to stay this way. Apparently, also, Feinstein did win her candidacy for re-election.
That woman's going to die in office. She's going to make sure of it.
Or
she's
at least
she's going to croak like mid-step as soon as she gets in. Yeah. She wants to be a lifelong politician.
Yes, she does. And I am really, really disappointed that even though the Democrat National Committee wasn't sponsoring her, she still got in the primary, got her position to go forward.
Well, that goes to show that there are still enough morons in her district that apparently have not become disillusioned with under her leadership.
Well, you'd think at this point they would have. I mean, I was just watching a video of her in 1994 when she was talking about we need to put a wall up and curtail illegal aliens from entering the country. And now she's yelling, no, don't stop those illegal aliens. You know, when did it become okay? You know, when did she change her mind?
That's because she found out they're the ones voting for her.
Entirely possible, Tara. Entirely possible. Well, you know, it's also probably the dead. Kaz, do you have that problem down in California? Because I know we have it up here in Oregon.
I think Cass is dead.
Oh, Cass, did we lose you?
The commies finally killed him.
Oh, I hope not.
Oh.
Cass, you with us?
He said I'll be right back. He might have just forgot to mute himself.
Cass, you shall be avenged.
Yeah, seriously though, I do hope he's all right and he's just away from his computer. But speaking of commies and killing people, did you guys see Razorfist's new video? It was about a half hour.
No, I haven't seen it.
I haven't watched it yet, man. Sorry.
Holy shit, you guys really need to see it. He breaks down going back to like the silent film era, the entire communist infiltration of Hollywood. And ironically, Razorfist is my mother's favorite person. I let her watch all of his videos. It's funny watching having his great grandmother watch somebody with a mouth like that. But she got concerned. She's like, they're gonna kill him for this. I said to her, I said, yeah. I said, you see, you're worried about me in my bunker screaming with my hockey mask on. I said, look at this shit he's talking about. Like, he names names and everything. I was shocked. It's really good.
Well,
you do know he keeps a loaded revolver behind him when he's filming, right?
Smart man.
Well, you do realize I've actually dropped names on people on some of my videos about the communist infiltration of the country as well, right?
Yeah.
I've talked about Marcuse directly. I've talked about his cabal of people, why they fled to Weimar. You know, I haven't pulled any punches on it either. I've even gone back to some of the stuff going on with the Prohibition era and the pre-Prohibition era and the founding of the Ku Klux Klan. So, you know, yeah, it's scary to talk about that stuff, but somebody needs to.
My whole thing is, I'm not really like, I'm not saying you are either. I'm not saying like, it's not that I'm scared to talk about it. My whole concern is, like, my mother and my wife are my main concern. But if I can get my wife where she's not somewhere where they could reach to her, and I can get my mother to safety, I'm the type where I'd walk into one of these communist meetings and I just start fucking throwing punches. You can, Scoobie's talking for calls to violence. Yeah, you goddamn right I'm calling for calls to violence. You're fucking communists. This is a capitalist country. You people are terrorists. Get the fuck out. Fucking hate communists. Like, people, you think Burnside's bad about it. You got to see me when I see them. I fucking flip.
So apparently there was a prostitute scandal with the Mexico World Cup.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. And so far, Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom has a lead in the California gubernatorial primary.
Hmm.
Oh, Cass, you're back.
Yeah, I was trying to talk to you guys for like 5 minutes, but apparently I was muted.
Sorry, we thought you had died, man. We thought the commies had finally gotten you.
No, I already muted myself. I got like the Blue Yeti over here. So I'm just saying you got to be careful what you say nowadays sometimes, because unfortunately, you know, Huffington Post and fucking CNN clearly don't seem to give a shit about people's privacy anymore.
No,
Yep,
they don't.
Yep. Especially after they've started going to grandmothers' houses to yell at them for being Trump supporters.
Yeah, pretty much. Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm waiting for the day they come here. I have no shame in saying, anyone comes to my house and bothers my poor saintly mother, I'm going to fucking blind them. I'm going to put this graphic too. I will grab the sides of their heads with my hands. I will take my thumbs and I will drive them into their eyes until I hear it go pop. There. Seriously, don't come to my house. You want to scream at somebody for being a Trump supporter? Fine. Go talk to a fucking Marine with a neck as thick as one of your legs. Go scream at him.
But see, they don't come and yell at us veterans and us former active duty because they're worried that we'll beat the living shit out of them when they throw their punch.
Well, they're not wrong because they're pussies.
Yeah.
I find out they bothered your mother. If it's a woman, I will stitch her vajayjay shut. If it's a man, I will turn his sack into a coin purse.
Yeah, they're lucky that my mother's. They're lucky my mother's an older woman. My mother actually. I only got knocked out once my entire life. It was by my mother.
Jesus.
Yeah, my mother actually was the YWCA Golden Gloves champ of the North Bronx for I think 3 years in a row. She actually is the one who taught me how to box when I was a boy. So, the toughest
Not a woman to be messed with.
Nope. My mother, when I was a teenager, I got into a fight with these kids in school, and my father made me go back and beat the shit out of this one kid. He's like, get out of the car and beat the shit out of him, or I'm going to smack the hell out of you. So I had to get out of the car and beat the shit out of this kid. So the following Monday, a couple of kids came to my house, and they were vandalizing my father's work van. My mother comes out and starts yelling, and one of them that was there was a girl, and she was the toughest girl in the school. She hauled off, and she punched my mother in the face. That was the only shot that she got on my mother. My mother fucking six-pieced her and put her on her ass.
I love your mother.
Yeah, she's a tough old woman.
Mama Scooby is awesome.
Yeah. Irish woman from the Bronx. You don't mess with them.
No. Don't mess with Irish women, period. They tend to be a bit squirrely to begin with.
Yeah. I'll say this much, and I'll say it without shame. You want to talk tough, you're not going to get tougher than an Irish woman. You want to talk combative, you're not going to get more combative than an Italian woman. You want to get shot, you're not going to get shot faster than by a Jewish woman. Seriously.
And if you want to get stabbed, piss off a Latina.
Specifically Puerto Ricans. Specifically, no, believe me, I have dated El Salvadorians, I've dated Dominicans, I've dated Hondurans, I've dated Guatemalans, I've dated Mexicans, my God, I got around a lot, and I've dated Puerto Ricans. And out of all of them, yeah, the one I would watch the most with the blade would be the Puerto Rican girl.
I agree. Puerto Ricans.
Definitely.
No, the men can be crazy too.
The who?
The men.
Oh no, this is from my own personal experience. Out of all of those women, the two probably that I would be most concerned about to stab me would have probably been in this order: the Puerto Rican girl and the Mexican girl, and the Puerto Rican girl by a Texas mile. The Mexican girl probably wouldn't have done it as fast. Most of it's something, it's a cultural thing with those folks. Puerto Rican people, from my experience, they get hot fast. Holy shit, do they got quick tempers. It's a cultural thing.
Mm-hmm.
Really is. I have this one friend of mine, name's Willie. And Willie, we that was the thing. Like, whenever something would pop off, the first thing I would say, well, what happened? Well, Willie got hot. I'd say, well, of course Willie got hot. He's Puerto Rican. He always gets hot. What else happened? And I wasn't saying it to be no shot against Puerto Rican folks, but it's just a phenomenon up here. Like, it's a known thing. Willie was known for losing his fucking marbles over anything, and I don't know, but my experience has always been like with all those women, the first one to pull out a blade has always been the Puerto Rican girl. Yeah,
the Puerto Ricans are just they're crazy in their own way. you ever watch a few Chris Ray Gun videos back to back? You see that weird kind of twitch in his eye every now and again?
I can't sit through too much Chris Ray Gun. He reminds me too much of my cousin Umberto, and I couldn't deal with Bert. Bert would get on my nerves something fierce, and he looks just like Chris Ray Gun. And I used to say to him, Bert, you're fucking killing me, man. Because he had the same sort of personality, too. He was one of those people that would try to get your attention all the time, and then he'd give you the okay sign because it means asshole. Hey, Scoob. And I'd look over, and he'd be giving the okay sign. Like, Bert, I'm going to throw a fucking iron at you in a second. Oh, man. It's funny. Start talking about girls stabbing. Oh, Puerto Rican. Had a lot of experience with that, have you, Dix?
I've known a few Puerto Ricans, yes.
And all of the knife-wielding variety, apparently.
Knife, mostly nail files.
Well, that's because they use them all the time to keep their nails nice and sharp.
No, it's not that. No. They use emery boards to do that. They carry the nail files for a different reason.
Same thing as like an ice pick.
Yeah.
Those are the big ones. Ice pick, X-Acto knife, and like you said, a nail file. Those are the three things you'd carry on you all the time. Easiest things to get rid of. I would just fuck it. I'd carry a screwdriver if anything. Nice flathead. Hell of an entry wound.
Yeah.
But, it's funny though. You mentioned the nail culture. My experience was always like that's very big in the El Salvadorian community. The huge nails.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Black community too.
Not as big up here. Nowhere near.
In Texas,
they will have the nails that curve over into their hand. I don't even know how the fuck they type, they write. how they wipe their ass.
Yeah, it's mostly a southern thing, a southern black women, big with the nails thing. It's very much part of the southern culture. Is
And you make them break their nails? Oh, you're in big fucking trouble.
The
do not touch their nails. Do not touch their hair.
Black culture up here is very, very Yankee. It's very. I've used the example before. If you ever watch like the Tyler Perry movies, and you see not like Medea and her family, like the Southern folks, but when they show like his other movies, where the Why Did I Get Married movies, like the ones with like Janet Jackson in them.
Mm-hmm.
You ever see like they're all black yuppies? That literally is how the black community is in New York. They are whiter than the white people. Yeah, that's why like you don't see like what like the culture I saw when I was down in DC and like parts of Philly. It was amazing to me. And then like you talk to them around here and they have such derogatory things they say about those people. That's how they refer to them. They're like, I don't associate with those kind. What do you mean those kind, motherfucker? You're black too, aren't you? They're beneath me. Oh, okay, sure. Then they have the balls to scream about white oppression, and they get into a $200,000 luxury car, and they won't associate with black people who they find beneath them. But yeah, go ahead, rock on with the white guilt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, seriously. I tell people all the time, the black community up here, everyone is like Simone Sanders. What I mean by that is, if you look at the wardrobe Simone Sanders wears whenever she's on CNN, she's wearing like an outfit that's worth more than my whole wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
You have that up here a lot. You have black people that are going to Starbucks for like every half hour to get another $5 latte. You have folks like that who are they throw obscene amounts of money around. So this is why I get confused when I see them out in the streets in New York, you know, like screaming about democratic socialism. Like, really? You do realize if you get democratic socialism, it doesn't mean that everyone's going to get as much money as you. That means they're going to start taking away your money, you moron. That's how it's going to work. And
yeah.
But see, they don't believe that's how it would work because they don't believe in the idea that resources are scarce, Scoob.
Yeah. Well, I think what part of the problem is, you see, is the way the media presents it, they present the black community as a monolith. And the problem is that might have worked 50 years ago, 60 years ago, when Jim Crow was still in place in certain parts of the country, that you could say they were a monolith because there were things that were actually as hurdles. But the thing of it is now, you cannot, in all honesty, you cannot compare the black community in Florida with the black community in Philadelphia, with the black community in Chicago, with the black community in New York, with the black community in Los Angeles. Just like you can't compare the white community in each of these places because they're all different. Just like you can't compare the ethnic community because, to be completely frank, the ethnic community down in, let's say, like the Gulf area region, the ethnic community there is different than the ethnic community in this the West Coast, like in this the southern part of it, like down by Los Angeles. It's completely different than the ethnic community up here by me in New York and New Jersey. Different ethnicities go to different parts of the country because that's where their communities are. That's why you have these different demographics. That's why we have a census. These people ignore all that and they're doing monolithing, and that's the part of it that drives me crazy.
It drives my cat crazy.
Yeah.
Goodness, she's been howling like crazy like the last hour and a half here.
Well, she hears all the politics and it's getting under her fur.
Yep.
I don't know.
Nothing pisses my cat off faster than hearing about California breadlines.
Yeah. It's, I don't know, because it's one of the things, since I started streaming with you guys and since I started like traveling a little bit, I myself, I always thought of myself as red pilled, but as a New Yorker, there is still more that I had to learn. And one of those things were that, yes, the black community around by me has been elevated severely, but these other communities are awash in all sorts of hindrance, again, laid at their feet by the Democratic Party. And that's the problem we have here in New York, is because Harlem itself is like a utopia to these folks. And they don't realize the rest of the country is not like that for their communities. That's the problem. Is you have the most prosperous black community in the country is turned against the president, and it's fueling the fire. I'm hoping that the shit with Farrakhan this past week will actually start to change. It's slowly changing it now. I want to see. He's supposed to be giving some sort of a speech in the next upcoming weeks. I'm dying to see what it's going to be about.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's getting close to that time, so why don't we go ahead and start doing our show-outs?
Sure. Alrighty.
So, Kaz, why don't we start with you?
Okay. Hold on.
Okay. Well, Scoob, I guess we can go to you first, and we can get Kaz when he comes back.
All right. I'll keep it quick because I've been dominating the stream and it's not fair. Had a lot to say, but it's still not fair. Anyway, I'm Scooby331. You guys can follow me here on YouTube. I'm on Minds.com, Gab.ai, Patreon, and PayPal. And I am still suspended on Twitter as not Scooby331.
Free Scooby again. Hashtag free Scooby again.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna be putting up videos this week. Just have to see, depending on what's on the news tomorrow, that might affect if I put out a video tomorrow. So I'll just play it by ear. But that's me.
Okay, Tara.
I'm Tara Sin. You can find me on most social media sites. I'm not really going to shill too much. I'm just going to say that, I have a MakerSupport and a Patreon, and I'm going to be setting up a PayPal to connect to all of that. My sewing machine broke over the weekend, and I'm not joking when I say that a basic sewing machine costs around $250 to $300, and I really need help in getting a new sewing machine because I've been told that that's all I can do because they don't make the parts for my sewing machine anymore. So if anyone could help me, just even a little bit counts, help me get a new sewing machine, that would be really, really great. And that's it.
So everyone, don't forget to support Tara on this. We would love to see her get back up and sewing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Kaz, you're back, huh?
Yep, sorry about that.
Not a problem. Go ahead.
So I'm Kaz Warfox, and I do politics and gaming. When I actually get to that shit, hopefully you can do that soon, provided things don't fuck me up the ass, as they usually do.
I thought you liked that.
Well, yeah.
He only likes it when certain people do it.
I only like it when it's a certain thing,
Giggity.
Anyway, in the meantime, before I actually make any actual content, I have a Twitter. If you like to see that shit, go ahead and follow that. There's a lot of weird shit in it, if you can handle that, and a lot of weird memes. If you can handle the weird fluffiness, yeah, please follow.
It's a yiffin' good time, as they say.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick over G's trash can again. Just for the fuck of it.
Man, don't wear the blue tracksuit this time. It's a dead giveaway.
Oh, fuck, you're right.
You got a pink one you can wear?
What?
Or a yellow one?
Yeah, do you have a pink or a yellow tracksuit you could wear instead of the blue one?
I got a black and blue one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't wear yellow. You look like April O'Neil.
Hey, she was hot.
I
Yeah, she
love
was.
French. Anyway, that's about it. I know I'm not saying much today, but it's a pain in the ass to make real content right now.
I know. Well, Six, you want to go ahead and shill yours?
Well, I am the next 6 minutes. I run the next 6 minutes channel. You must spell out the word 6 if you want to find it, because if you don't, you won't. I also have the next live streams channel, which I conduct most of my live streaming from. You haven't seen much of me lately because I've taken a new job, one that I'm out in the sun a lot, and I'm up to 100 fluid ounces of water. That's 2 of those giant bottles of water for, what is it, a 9-hour shift. So yeah, I get here pretty much exhausted. So I went from virtually a sedentary lifestyle to busting my hump in like overnight. So it's been a bit of an adjustment, and I'm slowly getting a handle on things. It'll be a couple of weeks before I'm really back kind of in my groove, as it were. So I do apologize for all the low energy stuff that I have been putting out for the last week, but that's not going to change fairly soon. But I will do my best to bring my A game Thursday, because I do have Thursday off. So that's you will be seeing the next 6 minutes on the next 6 minutes channel. Well, not the next 6 minutes channel, the next live streams for the Chaos 120. And hopefully Colleen Bernier is no longer filter banned or shadow filter banned or filter shadow banned or whatever the hell she's going on. So I can read some of her stuff, as well as from Captain Brambles, who was kind enough to submit the stories for tonight. Thank you very much, Captain. And that's about all I got right now, because I really can't schedule anything, because I'm sort of on a dynamic schedule that changes every Sunday. So it's like, okay, next week's schedule may be different than last week's schedule. Do I see Patches? I see Patches. Hey, Patches.
Yes, we do have Patches on the screen here. So
awesome, yeah. Patches.
Everybody get a load of Patches.
He's a sweet boy.
He loves Uncle Six. That's why when you started talking, I brought the computer and then put Patches on, because just hearing your voice makes him very happy.
I am the dog whisperer.
I'm going to come visit and kidnap that dog.
Oh, don't take his Patches.
I love my Patches. This is my whole reason for living.
Well, and everybody, you know me by now. I'm the veteran mountain man. I will be shifting my hosting day to Monday nights starting next week. Me and Burnside are swapping so that his schedule can be better facilitated. Also, don't forget, I am putting out some content for tomorrow. I am hoping to make this rally tomorrow if my office work isn't too busy. I might also have some new imagery to start using, and maybe even some T-shirts done up here soon. I'm working on getting some artwork again, because my last artist flaked out on me. But we'll see what I can do. Other than that, please don't forget, we've got Irate Prostate hosting tomorrow, and we'll have 6 on Thursday, Scoobie on Friday, and Rebo Jones Saturday to round out the week.
So we get to ask her about her strange Greek dysentery or whatever the hell she had.
Oh gosh, she drank the water in Greece.
Yeah.
Oh, rookie mistake.
Rookie mistake. Yeah.
Don't drink the water in Greece. Only drink bottled in Greece.
In any country, only drink bottled.
Hey, I got a mean case of Montezuma's Revenge back in the 90s. Went to Mexico.
Well, and as always, everybody, have yourselves a wonderful night.
Bye.
Good night, Chad.
Revenge.